Hello everyone, this is Stephanie. Welcome to another video. So today we're going to work on the Interlace bezel bracelet, and it's exactly that. It's a bezel, and I've used my Interlace design for the band. And what's a little bit different about this one is that we're using 4mm bicones, and I know we've been using 3mm, but this band is going to use 4, and I'm going to show you how we can do that. All right, so take a quick look. This is an amethyst stone bracelet that I'm working on, but here I'll show you the finished bracelets. Let me put this guy over here. All right, so here this is one in sapphire, and these are 18 by 13mm Swarovski fancy stones. And what I've done is I've bezeled the back to make it pretty, because I kind of like the way the back looks when it's finished. So that's this one, and then I just made this one, which is a jet stone and jet bicones. And what's neat about this is if you use a stone that isn't foiled on the back, you can reverse it. So I think this looks really kind of pretty, even reversed. It gets that sort of that vintagey look. Here's the ring. We made that a while back. All right, so I'm going to clear the decks, and I'm going to get a materials list going, and we'll get started on this bracelet. All right, see you in a few. Okay, let's get our materials list going. So here I have several of the fancy stones, which I just wanted to share with you because they're just so beautiful. So I wasn't sure which one I was going to use. I'm going to pick one. I'm going to try and do this in matte beads for you so that it's easy for you to follow. It's kind of hard to follow with the shiny and all the sparkle. So, of course, these are, you know, the emerald and, you know, the pretty standard Swarovski fancy stone. And they've got these cool sort of satiny finished ones, and these are called shiny, and they have the color on the back instead of foiled. They're so pretty. I'm thinking of using this gray one. So here just a few are some examples of what you can use, and just look at them. They're so gorgeous. So it's an 18 by 13 Swarovski fancy stone. Then I've got some 11/0 Delicas. I've got two 15/0 seed beads. One you need a bunch, not a bunch of, but enough to do, you know, 4 rows on the bezel. So you'll need some of those. Then you need a contrasting color if you want to do the back. So see in the back here how I used a blue bead here to contrast. So if you want to do the back like this, then you'll just need 4 15/0s in a contrasting color. You'll need some 11/0 seed beads, some 4mm bicones. I might change this color. The colors I'm going to use are all going to be just for video purposes so that it's easy for you to see what I'm doing. Here's a clasp. I'm using magnetic clasps, and these are both 2 very good ones. You can use the clasp of your choice, of course. I'm using Wildfire for this. I like Wildfire for this. It makes it's really smooth and easy through the beads when you do a bezel. Size 11 beading needle. Keep a 12 handy just in case. Little stop bead. Think we're good. So gather up your materials, and don't forget to look at the description box below the video, because I'm going to put links to where I purchased all my materials, right down to the needles and thread. So I'll tell you, and colors. I'm going to put all the colors of these bracelets in the description box below, links to websites and some suggested websites where I always look for, you know, for beads on a regular basis. So don't forget to look down there. Lots of good material down there, lots of good information. And if I forget something or have a note, I put it down there as well. So take a look. All right, see you in a few. Okay, let's start. So thread your needle with about 36 to 40 inches of thread. Put a stop bead on, a little less than center, so leave maybe a 16, 17 inch tail, something like that. So we're going to do part of the bezel with this tail, front, back with this part. So thread on 40 of your Delicas, and I just wanted to make a note here. The gold and the other silver one are done with hex cut Delicas, and I'll put that in the description box below the video. I love these hex cut Delicas. Look how they sparkle. I'm doing this one with matte. I want you to be able to see what I'm doing, so I didn't use any hex cut on this, or shiny beads. So I will put it in the description box below the video. Those hex beads are gorgeous. All right, so let's make this into a circle. So bring it around. So I'm going to move my stone out of the way. Come up the first couple of beads. Doesn't matter, 2 or 3. I just want to get a circle out of it. So here, that's going to give me a circle. Now I'm going to do just our standard peyote bezel here. So I'm coming out of this Delica. I'm going to skip the next one, pick up a Delica, and sew through the next bead. Leave that for a second. Okay. And you want that bead to pop up on the previous bead, just like that. So that's exactly how it should look. Pick up another one. You're coming out of here. You're going to skip the next bead and sew through the next bead. Just like that. It's going to pop into place. And you're going to do that all the way around. Pick up a bead, skip a bead, sew through the next bead until you get to a couple of beads before the end, and then meet me back here and we'll step up together. All right, see you in a few. Okay, I'm coming down to the end, so I've got a couple of beads to go. So I'm just adding my next Delica. Pick one up, and now I'm going to step up. So I'm coming out of this Delica. I'm going to skip this one. I'm going to come through the next one plus the one on the diagonal. And let me get my needle positioned and then I'll hold it for you. Just like that. Okay? So you're coming out of here, skip this one, come through the next one and the one on the diagonal. That's going to put you up at the top there to add another round of beads on. Alright, I'm going to pull that through. Just like that. Now you're going to add your 15-ohs. So pick up a 15-oh, come through the next Delica, pick up another 15-oh, come through the next one, and you're going to pull these a little bit because we want it to start to curve a little bit. You don't want to pull it too tight. So come all the way around. Till you get to the end, and a couple of beads, till you get to a couple of beads before the end, and then we'll step up together. All right, see you in a few. Okay, I'm coming down to the end, and I've just put it on my finger so it's easier to hold. So I've got a couple beads to go. So here, that one on, and I'm going to step up. So I'm coming through, pick up a 15-oh, come through the Delica and the 15-oh, to step up. That's how it looks. Now we're going to add another row or another round of 15-oh. So pick up a 15-oh. That going on. Pick up a 15-oh, and so on. Okay, so then keep doing that. Give it a little pull to get it nice and snug and have it curve, and then come all the way around and step up, and then meet me back here and we'll continue. All right, see you in a few. We're back, and I finished the second round, and we're just going to put this, and I've stepped up, and then we're just going to put this needle and thread aside. This is going to be the back of our bezel. So take off the stop bead and thread a needle, or use the needle from the other side. And we're gonna put the stone in and see how it's looking. So here we go. Just going to turn it over. We have more beading to do here on the back, so I'm just going to put my stone in. That's how it looks. Okay, so here I'm coming out of one of my Delicas, and I'm going to do two rounds of 15-ohs. And what you're going to do is just, when you place your stone, this is important actually, I want you to place it so that the top of your stone, so if you look here, the center, here's the center of my stone, and you can just about tell by, there's a ridge right here that or from the facets, and I want you to have one of the indented beads at the top here. So let me pull in super close for you to see this. And I apologize if there's some noise in the background. There's somebody's cutting down bushes and such. So if it gets really noisy, I'm going to have to stop, but hopefully we can get through this. So here, do you see this ridge right here? So here's my indented bead here, the two sticking out beads. I want this bead right at the top, right in the middle, because when we put on our band, I want it to be nice and even. So you see it's attached to the Delicas, so you want to make sure it's going to be nice and even. So if this one's at the top, then because it's an even number of beads, you can have the same thing at the bottom. Now you're going to have to hold it. It's going to probably move around a bit. Don't worry about it. It's such a small amount to move that you'll be able to get it into place. But just try to be mindful of keeping this center indented bead in the middle. All right, so what we're going to do at this point is we're going to add our 15-0s. So hold it with your thumb and forefinger. It's going to be loose right now. It's not going to stay in. It probably won't, let me pull out a little bit. It probably won't get tight. You'll find that sweet spot that I call it when it starts just to tighten up and it will stay in. You probably won't find that until you get to the next round. All right, so come around, put your 15-0s on, and then step up, be mindful of where your center is, and then step up, do another round, and then meet me back here, and we'll continue. All right, see you in a few. Okay, so we're back, and I finished the front of my bezel, and what I did is I went ahead and added a third round. I don't know, it just depends on whether or not you like the look of a third round, so I'll just show you the difference. I did 2 rounds with the jet. I did 3 rounds with this one. This one has 3. I kind of like the 3 with the bracelet. Here, I'll show you the ring actually. Here we go. So this is one of the rings. I did 2 rounds. This ring has 3. I like the bracelet with 3, but you don't have to. It's certainly up to you. I just thought I'd add a third round. All right, so here I've done my third round. Second or third, whatever you're doing, and now we can tie this thread off. So I'm coming out of a seed bead. I'm just gonna move on the diagonal through the beads until I get up to an area where I can start sewing them in, sewing the thread in. So I'm just gonna come through a few Delicas. I'm gonna work my way down a little bit. So just sew on the diagonal like this till you get down to sort of the side. I want to get away from the top. It's like that. Oops. Don't get caught. There we go. So I'm going to, let's see, come down this one. So I'm far enough away from the top now. Then you can come up in reverse direction. Just sewing the thread in. Like that. And then maybe come on the diagonal. And you can do that on the side a bit. And then you can clip your thread off. So get that done and then meet me back here and we'll finish the back. All right, see you in a few. Okay, we're back. So we're going to do the back of we're going to decorate the back of the stone. So we're going to do this. So if you don't want to, you don't have to, but I'm going to do it. All right, so here again on the back, if you want to add a third round of 15-0s, you can. Now, depending on the stone and the beads you're using, the coating, etc., a third round will fit. It did with this easily. So these are just with the metallic bronze beads. With this bezel, I tried the third round and it was starting to bunch up. So I'm just going to leave it with 2. Doesn't really matter. So that's going to be something you're going to have to determine. So I'm coming out of a seed bead. And what I'm going to do here is, I want to add a bead here, a bead here, a bead here, and a bead here. And I'm using the ridges on the stone as my guide. So I have to needle through the beads until I get to this opening right here between these two beads. See that? So I'm just going to come through this bead and then up this one. So wherever you have come out, you're just going to have to needle through until you get to this point. And, you know, as I said, I'm using this as sort of a guide. So then I'm just going to take a contrasting bead and just going to come through the next one. And that's going to place my blue bead on. And I apologize for the noise. It's they're cutting down trees in the neighborhood, and I keep trying to record in between the noise, so hopefully it'll be okay. And then you want to needle up. Okay, so I have the first one on, so the needle through all the beads until you get to this one, these two beads right here, and you can use your back of your stone as your guide, and you're going to put a bead here. Then you're going to needle through, and you're going to put a bead here. You're going to needle through and put a bead here, and just use your stone as a guide. Use those ridges as a guide. And then meet me back here once you get those 4 beads on, and then we'll put the last round of beads on the back, and then we can finally get to the bracelet. All right, see you in a few. Okay, we're back. So I have my last blue bead on, and now you have to needle through the beads again till you get to this bottom one here. So I'll just do that together, and hopefully there won't be any more noise. So you see what I'm doing. I'm just going through the up bead and then the down bead. And this is just so that you don't have any thread showing. Okay, then I'm going to come through this one. And then through this one and the blue one. You can get them both at the same time, just like that. So you want to be coming out of the blue bead. Then you're going to pick up, I think we're going to be 7 15-ohs. And that's going to depend on whether or not you have 2 or 3 rounds on the back. I might even need 8 here. I think I'm going to need 8 because I did just 2 rounds on the back. And then you're just going to pop through that blue bead. Let's see if 8 fits. Oh, I think that might make it. So let's see. Do it again. Come through this one. And if it's, if it doesn't make it, then you take one off or add one. Like that. Come through the last one. Pull. Now your back is done. I know that was really picky stuff for the back. So go around and reinforce and then tie in this thread, by going through your Delicas on the sides, and then meet me back here and we're going to finally put the bands on. All right, see you in a few. Okay, we're back. So we're going to put the bracelet ends on. So here it is, and here's the back sewn in and all reinforced. I just love it in the back. I think it's so pretty. All right, so thread a needle with 5 feet of thread. Put on a stop bead and leave enough of a tail to sew in. So now we're going to work with that center bead. Remember how we situated our stone? And so if you're still good with that, it's going to make it very easy to get the bracelet ends on. So here, even the little blue bead from the beads on the back corresponds with that bead right here. So they're all kind of centered there. Okay, so here's the bead. Here it is right here. I want you to come through this one with your needle and thread. So the one on the one on the side of it, the indented bead. Pull that through. Pick up 3 11-ohs. Coming out of here, just come back around that same bead. It's just going to place those 3 11-0s right there. Advance through that bead in the center. And the next one. Just like that. Pick up 3 11-0s. Come back around that bead. Now you have your 2 units on. Look like little kitty ears. And this is this is going to be set up for the bracelet ends. So then come through the side seed bead and the top seed bead, and don't worry about it if it's loose, because we're going to tighten it with this when we sew this in. So this is how you want to be coming out. I'm going to leave it at this point and let you get to this point, and then meet me back here, and we'll start the bracelet end. All right, see you in a few. Okay, we're back, and before we start adding the bicones, I'm just going to sew my end in, just because I think it'll keep it, it'll be easier to work with. So coming out of a Delica, so as I just put a needle on the tail thread, and I'm just going to, just like I sewed everything else through, I'm just going to sew through my beads on the diagonal. And I'm going to pull it pretty tight, because I just want to make sure both are nice and snug, both of the units. And just sew down the side of the bezel, and then come on through, reverse direction, you got it, and then you can take that off. Alright, so I'll just hold that aside for right now. Now it's nice and secure. Alright, so now we're going to start a little interlace. So grab your 4mm bicones and your 11-0s. Pick up 3 11-0s. Coming out of here, just come around like that. Pick up a 4mm bicone. Come through the top seed bead of the next unit. Just like that. Pick up 3 11-0 seed beads. Coming out of here, come around the other side of the bead, come on through. Just like that. And come up the side seed bead and the top seed bead of that unit. And this particular, design, it's wonky looking for the first several rows, so don't worry about it. Pick up 3 11-0s. Coming out of here, come around. Pick up 3 11-0s. This is where we're going to change it up a little bit. Coming out of here, just go through the top seed bead of the next unit. So instead of adding a bicone, we're adding 3 11-0s, and that's how we're getting that 4mm bicone in there. So pick up 3 11-0s. Come on back around. The same bead you're coming out of. So through the side bead, seed bead, and the top seed bead. Opal. Pick up 3 11-0s. Coming out of here, come around. Just like that. Pick up a 4mm bicone. Come through the top seed bead of the next unit. Pick up 3 11-0s. Coming out of here, come around that same other side of the same bead, up the side seed bead and the top seed bead. Pick up 3 11-0s. Come around again. Pick up 3 11-0s. Come through the top seed bead of the next unit. Pick up 3 11-0s. Come around. Come through the side seed bead and the top seed bead. And so on. So this is what you're going to do all the way down to the end of your bracelet. You're going to alternate a 4mm bicone with 3 seed beads. 4mm, 3 seed beads. And the way you're going to end is just like this. You want to end with the 3 seed beads and the 2 units at the end like that. All right, so for my almost 7-inch bracelet, it took me 10 bicones. So you'll have to judge and see what you need for your bracelet. You want the bracelet to be close to the skin. It's not a bangle, so you see how close it is? It's not tight, but it's close enough because you want it to stay, because it is a flat bracelet, so you want it to make sure it stays, so you want it a little bit close. All right, so there you go. All right, so get this side done and just leave the tail thread, and then do the other side the exact same way. You don't need me to do that with you because we have already done it. So get both sides done, meet me back here, and we'll put the clasp on. All right, see you in a few. Okay, so let's get the clasp on. I'm not going to do the other side, just in the interest of saving time. But I do love this color combination, so I will finish it. So here we are. Here's 1/2 of my clasp. Pick up 2 11-0s. The clasp. It's a good magnet on that guy. 2 11-0s. Coming out of here, just come through this one. Come down the side seed bead of that unit, and then all the way across all of that whole row right there. Come back up through all the beads and the clasp, the loop on the clasp. Back through these guys. There you are. Now, the reason I left a lot of thread for you at the end was I want you to reinforce the entire side of the bracelet. So come through this one. It's going to make the bracelet just so much nicer. Now come through these 3, the seed bead bicone. Seed bead. Come through this one. Then up through this line of beads. It's just going to connect everybody really nicely, so it has this nice straight look about it. Like that. We're just going to do this all the way down. Okay. So do that. And see, it's already it looks so much better, and it feels better. It may look the same, but it really feels good now. So do that all the way till you get to the bezel, and then sew your thread in the bezel. And if you haven't done your other side, do your other side, and then meet me back here and we'll look at our bracelets. All right, see you in a few. Okay, we're back, and here are our bracelets. I can't wait to finish this one. I really love the colors on it. I think they're all pretty. I pulled out a couple of the rings. Here's one of the earrings that we made. I know there were others stashed away somewhere. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Look for more of this interlace pattern coming up with 4mm bicones. I think that's going to be really fun to do. So thank you for joining me, and I will see you on the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.